Hi everyone, I'm Echoes and I'm a VTuber, and I'll be going over Grendizer U episode 9. Oops, sorry, realized that there's like 4 minute issue. Anyway, yeah, so apologize for the delay as I was dealing with some tech issues before, so hopefully they don't happen now. Anyway, let's get started. So in the beginning of the episode, we pretty much get Duke is pretty much locked up by Dr. Umon, as Dr. Mon's currently feeling a bit fearful of him overall, especially of his loyalty. And that's why Koji is like, why are you locking him up? He's like, please reconsider. And he's currently in jail. While the doctor is like, he has tricked us and met with our enemies. Did great treason we will not overlook. And all I do is see his fiance. Is this a crime that he should punish for? Rubina isn't just his fiance. She's also the heir to the Vega Alliance. And then the doctor's like, I'm just thinking of her military status. And then Koji's like, what gives you that right? Of course it does, because I'm the boss, essentially, of the space of the center. Punish anyone who will conspire with their enemies. And then you can see that everyone else is kind of like, why is he being so stubborn? I think the doctor's reaction is understandable, but can also be seen as a bit overkill. And that's why Ria's like thanking Koji for defending her brother, because he defended Earth several times over. And then you see the other guy is trying to talk with the doctor. It's like, let's see. Like, he's like, I understand your position. Don't forget that he defended Earth. I know, but we can't expect him to commit to humanitarian principles. I feel like this is the same thing he said last episode, too. So it kind of feels like he kind of got this thing in his head. It's like, oh, Duke is has a very, like, if Duke betrays us, it's all over sort of thing. It's like, how can we trust him? What if his fiance influences him to his position and turns against us? It said that he destroyed fleet and ran away. What if he does that again? And it's like, are you? And then the doctor says, oh, I'm scared of him. Scared of this unknown alien. The issue is he's not scared of Duke specifically. It's more about the possibilities of what Duke can do. And it's understandable, but it kind of feels like just being scared of unknown and what you don't know yet. So it's a bit sad, but regardless, it'll get resolved later on. We'll skip the opening. And then we have Tirona is beating up her underlings because all the other guys are just too weak compared to Duke in her memories and everything. And it's like, how will you defeat Duke if you're weak? And then we meet this guy, who I don't know who he is yet. He looks like just one of the Vega Alliance soldiers, I'm assuming, because that's why Rubina inviting him for tea, because he looks like it's her guard. And then Tirona comes in, so he doesn't have to do anything. And then she's like, and then Tirona's like, you shouldn't meet the Duke. And then Tirona's like, Rubina's like, Duke doesn't know what happened. I'm sure of his loyalty. And then Tirona's like, how could you betray Rubina's trust? And then Rubina's like, why are you blaming the Duke instead of me? And then Tirona's like, I had to blame him because he deceived you. I depend on him and trust him to keep you safe, but he didn't. And then Rubina's like, you're just doing this because you're sad. And then you can see that Tirona's like, nope, I'm not sad, I'm angry. But Rubina's like, I know you too well, sis. She kind of knows that essentially Tirona is essentially placing blame on Duke for perhaps her own downfalls and his downfalls at the same time. But also that's why she's so angry, is because she really did trust Duke a lot, and it feels like she's been betrayed. And you see that his friends are trying to break him out of jail. And then you can see that Ria's just mentioning about the future, like, oh, my brother will be able to get out and protect Earth. And then we get Kasado here. It's like, oh, you look ready. And he's like, who's better, Duke or me? And then she's like, Duke is, of course. And then she apologizes, like, oh, would you like me to lie to you? And then she asks him, why are you so obsessed with him? And he says, because I'm jealous. Because he used to be the strongest knight on a planet. And then he was told to go to Planet Fleet to pass the Starker Knight tests. And that was painful for him to deal with his inferiority complex that there's always someone better than yourself. And in this case, it's Duke. Sometimes it's just a harsh reality to know that, but it's, it just happens. There's always someone better than you. And he couldn't take that. Then he says, like, I'm going to get my revenge and you better be prepared. And then you see that these guys are just preparing for the next attack using the long-range, high-velocity super cannon. And they're using the moon to block the view of the ship from Grendizer, because otherwise he could snipe them out of the sky. And then you see Tirona's like, I don't see the use of destroying the ecosystem. Why do you want to ruin a reputation? She essentially wants to prevent too much destruction. And Blocky's like, oh, you and your sister were very close to him. You just want to get rid of him. And she's like, we had no relationship with a criminal. And then she destroys his cape because how much he offended her. And she's like, Duke is my enemy who has caused my sister sadness. Goal is to destroy him with least amount of damage. And then the general's like, is that okay? And she's like, yep. And then you can see here Koji is asking the scientists how long it's going to take for Mazinger to be ready, and it's going to be another 2 weeks, but it feels too long because he really wants help and doesn't want Duke to fight alone. Then you see they detect high frequencies from the base, so they're preparing the shield. Everyone has to be battle ready. And then you can see that they're launching the missile. It goes around as intended. And you can see that Tirona is ready. And then attacks them. And they're like, we're going to fight without Grendizer. And you can see that all the enemy forces attack the base now that the shield is down. Pretty much in trouble. And that's why Maria, Sayaka, and Kasado have to fight with the Spazer / support vehicles. But they're getting blocked by this what do they call it? This savage saucer that can absorb energy attacks. So that gives them a lot of problems. So also energy. Also time for the spark bomber. They're doing attacks and stuff, but it's all useless against the savage saucer Kua. And then you can see that they infiltrate the base. Blocky gets in. It's about to kill the doctor before Koji intervenes. And then you can see that Tirona's like, my only enemy is Duke Fleed. And then he's trying to get out. And then you can see the knights. The troops are like, we're gonna just chuck a bomb in and not kill him. And then the scientist tries to save him, and then lets him go so the Duke can defend himself. You can see that the scientist was like, "Oh, I'm okay, but I was also wrong." He was said that he couldn't help him more, and he believes that only you can save Earth. You can see that Duke is fighting his way out. And there's more fighting. See that they're trying to defeat that Kua, but Santa Maria ends up getting stuck before Grendizer comes in with Space Thunder. And then they warn him about the absorbing energy part. And then you can see that Duke is kind of being focused on fighting Tirona. Because she is, she's the one who really wants to defeat him. And then you can see they fight using their machines and all. Pretty cool attacks. It kind of like reminds me of how like Gundams and mechs would fight on top of jets. On top of like these floating platform things. So it's not the same thing, but it's still pretty cool. You see that Kasado's enjoying just watching the show. They're still fighting. It's like, you're a traitor, you betrayed Rubina. And then they crash land on the Wolf's Island. So I wonder if we get some more development with that next time. And you see that she's there. I guess she'll be seeing if anything happens now. They fight and the result. I don't know what Kasado's referring to there. And then they say, oh, they left the battlefield. And then this is a golden opportunity that'll never happen. So I guess Kasado's here to try to snatch away the Grendizer now. Yeah, that's about it. It's mostly a very battle-focused episode. You can see from this ending card here. But regardless, definitely interesting stuff. Not as much substance as last episode, but as it's mostly battle-focused, as the Vega Alliance essentially invades the base to get Grendizer, and a lot of fighting and all. We learn more about the distrust of the Dr. Umon, who is distrustful of Duke. We also learned that aliens are obviously trying to find, better ways to fight, and you can see that they're at least somewhat capable, and before they kind of seem kind of dumb, not gonna lie. And then Kasado's own agenda is wanting to get Grendizer, of course, even if he has to hide himself to do it. So he's sort of the type to, I'm so desperate, I'll do anything. But also it's good to see that Duke has the trust of his friends, which he desperately needs here, because he's a generally good guy. It's just a shame that Dr. Mon couldn't see that. He let his fear control him, essentially. But yeah, overall good episode. We'll see what happens next. We'll probably get more development on the Island of Wolves, and then we'll see whether the base is left unscathed or not, or it'll all convene at the Island of Wolves. We'll see. Regardless, hope you enjoyed listening to me talk. I'm looking forward to the next episode. All right, take care.